Summer vacations this year are going to happen close to home for millions of people. Travel to the U.S. is still restricted. International travel may open up at some point, but with so much uncertainty, it's hard to make any plans. That means foreign tourists are going to be staying home too. Tourism is a big economic driver in Canada. From accommodation to transportation, 750,000 jobs depend directly on tourism. Most of that economic activity is generated domestically by Canadians traveling to places like parks, campgrounds, cottages, and attractions across the country. As Mike Drolet reports, this could be the year Canadians rediscover all the wonders of home.
For kids, it's the official sound of summer, that last bell of the school year before camps and trips and, well, at the very least, no classes for a few months.
First one's here.
But the summer of 2020 looks more like this. All our hopes and dreams dashed by an empty parking lot and a closed amusement park. We're all Griswolds now. Interprovincial travel is still banned in most of Atlantic Canada and the Maritimes, so only Newfoundlanders are enjoying the province's famous iceberg watching season. And it's not even easy for locals. The iceberg tracker isn't updating the location of the biggest bergs this year to avoid crowds forming. And across the Gulf in PEI, Anne of Green Gables has been silenced for the first time in 56 years. Atlantic Canada's most famous redhead may not have COVID-19, but fear of the virus spreading has shut down the Charlottetown Festival. So the bottom line is there's still a lot of uncertainty leading into the summer. Each province has its own framework for reopening, but interpreting that framework is up to the municipalities and local health officials. And it doesn't always make sense. So tourism board officials are recommending if you do travel, make it hyper-local.
So first of all, we're really focused on staying local this summer. If you're planning to go further afield than, let's say, 50 kilometers, then call where you're wanting to go and make sure that they are open.
Welcome to the original Haunted Walk of Kingston.
For the past 20 years, Haunted Walks has introduced the curious to the darker and ghostly sides of Ottawa, Toronto, and Kingston. They offer walking tours outside where health officials say it's safer, which wasn't enough to sway Toronto and Ottawa to allow them to reopen. Only Kingston has given them the green light, but they can't offer their regular 15 to 20 person tours.
We can have social distancing between the tour guide and between a small group, but I'm talking about a group of no more than 4 people. So very small.
The impact on tourism is going to be massive. It's an $80 billion a year industry that contributes 2% to Canada's GDP. Take away $30 billion of that with no international visitors, and while the remaining $50 billion is domestic, that assumes Canadians will be traveling from province to province. Only Nova Scotia is open in Atlantic Canada right now, provided visitors quarantine for 14 days, the same rules that apply in Manitoba. Quebec, Ontario, Saskatchewan, Alberta, and BC are allowing visitors from other provinces, even though it's discouraged.
Tourism's big, obviously, is a big economic driver, but it also hurts the culture and fabric of our community in a way that I think is, is going to be really difficult to replace.
So what are families to do? Day camps have been allowed to open in most of the country, albeit with tough restrictions, such as limits on the number of campers and a ban on transportation, which Howie Grossinger says applies to 80% of the kids at Camp Robin Hood in Markham, Ontario. As a result, Grossinger and his wife made the painful decision not to reopen until next summer.
The outdoor experience, the pool, the swimming, the instruction, and quite frankly, Mike, like social distancing and the camp experience are just not compatible.
No.
We have 4-year-olds to 6-year-olds, a good population of those. 75% of my day camp population are under the age of 8.
It sounds bleak, but travel agent Lorraine Simpson says there is some hope for adventure this summer.
There are deals to be had, especially if you want to go to Europe. I found some flights under $500 to go to Italy and also Portugal and even Greece. There's some amazing prices out there.
The hitch is that those traveling abroad have to quarantine for 14 days upon returning, but that could change, so you're rolling the dice. Flying within Canada is an option too, and while there are incentives, the deals aren't as good. Still, Simpson says people are itching to get out of their homes.
who would go with me on a very early test pilot style trip, not knowing anything? And I just was inundated with people saying, yeah, I'm in. No questions asked. Yeah, I'm in. So people are ready to travel.
Perhaps the most intriguing summer idea involves camping. But since most campgrounds won't have bathroom and showers open, tents aren't an option. So that opens the door and the highways to RVs. 90% of Canada Dream's business in a normal year comes from Europe. But as we've come to know, 2020 is anything but normal. Domestic sales are certainly up, but nowhere near high enough to make up for the international loss.
And there's a lot of noise being made about RVs. A lot of people are saying that RVs are sold out. The campsites are sold out. It's utter nonsense. You know, none of us are sold out.
So the RV door is one Canadians could walk through, if they're up for adventure, that is.